Hello friends, I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you doing today? How is life in your world? I hope everything's good. Today, I hit a new milestone in my life. At 40 years old, I have received my first ever court summons. And I'll give you 3 seconds to figure out who it's from. Yeah, it's my HOA. Surprise! Which is interesting because I don't live in a rich neighborhood. By far, in fact, this neighborhood, when it initially was built, was income restricted, so they kind of needed, you had to be low income to buy a house here, which was a catch-22 because you had to be low income, but you had to qualify for a loan for a $150,000 house, whatever. And so our HOA is not really, they're not the horror HOAs that you hear about where, like, you know, your grass is measured to the inch or whatever. And in fact, we have very few issues. And concerning this court case, you know, I'm in the wrong. I'm not going to deny that. Like, essentially, it goes back 2 years. Homeowners' dues were not paid 2 years ago. I didn't know that because I wasn't handling the bills at that time. My ex was, and it was never paid. It was paid way later in the year. But our HOA at that time had a $50 a month accrued interest. So all this interest compounded and ended up coming out to, like, I don't know, $600 or something like that. And so last year I got a letter from a lawyer that said there's a lien placed against your house. The total is this. I said, okay. I contacted the president, said, I've never heard of this. I've never gotten an invoice for this. You know, what do I owe and how do I pay it? And he said, we'll have to contact the lawyer and sort out a payment plan. Sure. And then I never heard from them ever again until today, until I get this court summons, which just so happened, today's my work from home day. I happened to be here when the mail person came. It was delivered certified mail and restricted certified, which is even worse because you have to show your ID. So I get this court summons. Basically, I'm being sued in the magistrate's court. The plaintiff is a West Virginia nonprofit, blah, blah, blah. Living at this lot, yada, yada, yada. During the course of the outstanding balance, the HO reduced late fees from $50 to $25 per month. May 2018, plaintiff recorded a homeowner association lien in said clerk's office against defendant in the amount of $836, representing defendant's unpaid dues. Which is interesting because they said, as of the date of the filing, defendants have paid a portion of the balance. However, a total of $386 is unpaid. So they filed a They hired a lawyer and are suing me in magistrate's court for $386. $386. And the first step, apparently, is to file a court case. That's neat. I've never seen an invoice for $386, or I would have paid it. In fact, I saw an invoice this year. This year's dues came on an invoice that said $200, and I paid the $200 immediately, like within a day. They got the check. There was no past due balance. There was no notice, no nothing. Nobody's ever knocked on my door. The president literally lives like right there. He's never knocked on the door. Never said, "Hey, you owe us money," or I would have said, "Okay, here's a check. There's your money." What the hell? I don't understand it. The plaintiff of Augusta Pine Homeowner Organization demands judgment against the defendants in the amount of $386, including all additional late fees and assessments between the date of filing and the date of the judgment, plus court costs, attorney's fees, which amount in total to less than $10,000. Yeah, I would hope it's less than $10,000 because this is absolutely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. How? How is that a thing? Again, I'm not going to deny that I have an unpaid balance. I know that now, and I should have kept up with it last year. I should have been proactive and asked them, how much do I owe you, and I'll pay it, instead of waiting for them. But I've never heard from them. They never sent me a bill. They never said anything, never called me, never sent me an email. They have my email. Nothing. No communication whatsoever before hiring an attorney and suing me. So I called their attorney. I called him today and was like, Paul, what do I do? He actually turned out to be a super nice guy, and he was like, I was under the impression you had been in communication with them. I said, nope, they've never contacted me. And he's like, I can't, he kind of, I could tell, on the phone he was super professional, super nice guy, but he also was like, I can't give you legal advice because I represent the plaintiff. And I'm like, I know that. I'm not asking you to give me legal advice. I'm asking you to make this go away. What do I have to do? Who do I pay? Who do I write the check to? Like, I'm not going to court for $386. That's outrageous, right? Like, if they would have just asked, I would have just paid it. But they didn't. They decided to do this. So I called him just to say, like, Paul, can I just resolve this, like, today? Can I just take care of this? Like, whatever it is, I'm not going to court over this. I didn't need that today. I didn't need that at all. But, it is what it is. Again, yeah, I agree. I have an outstanding balance and I need to pay it. And I would gladly do that. And it didn't need to go here for that to happen. Somebody could have just asked. I get it why people complain about HOAs. But like I said, ours is, we don't really have any problem neighbors. We don't have people who have stuff in their yard that's not supposed to be there. We don't have, it's a pretty nice neighborhood, and everybody's kind of friendly, except for the fact that they just can't ask a neighbor to pay a bill, or send an invoice, or write a handwritten note on the previous invoice and say, hey, by the way, you owe us this, and I would have paid it. Whatever. Seems like, you get ahead a little bit and then somebody's like, oh, by the way, screw you. And that happens so freaking often. It's frustrating. But it is what it is, and I will pay it, and we'll get it settled, and it'll go away, and I'll move on with my life. Hopefully, I'll have a refund from the IRS before then. So we'll see what happens. But that's all I have for you today. A little bit of frustration. First time being summoned. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing and being amazing friends and wonderful people. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have a better conversation. I'll see you then.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
Today's random fact comes from shape.com. How many calories are in a peep? Like the little marshmallow things. One serving of Peeps is 5 chick-shaped pieces, each containing 28 calories. This may not seem like a lot, but almost all of these calories come from sugar. One Peep has 7.2 grams of carbs, 6.8 of which are sugar, meaning they're as empty as it gets.